All right, cool. So today I want to talk to you guys about the five-figure income stream that's sitting in your network. Um, Most of you guys, at least from my understanding, are pretty good at already doing this. I think you're all, yeah, everyone here is in sub two, so we all kind of know, like, play connector and do all these things. But I think a lot of people need to be reminded of it. Like, you don't have to call yourself a connector in order to actually get paid and do some of these things. You can be a flipper. You can be, like James getting into multifamily, or Kenny doing a lot of burrs. You could be doing all these different things and still make connections and still get paid from them. So, especially for you guys, everybody here is an investor. But if you're an agent, pretty much anybody that is um, talking to real estate investors, this is for you. You have the connections. Let's get you paid for them. And so for me, I had kind of tried everything I could when I first started real estate back in 2021. So I had tried wholesaling. I actually was adequate at it. I made some money, and I didn't really like it though, so I didn't stick with it. I felt like the sellers were really kind of rude, realtors were rude. Sometimes my team was really rude, and it was just like, this is all around a bad time. Why am I here? Then I tried managing Airbnbs. I did Airbnb arbitrage, and then I was hit with the reality of hospitality. And so once I actually started doing loan brokering, I was actually doing it on the side when I was wholesaling, and that's kind of when everything clicked. I realized, oh, okay, I think I know who I want to actually start working with. I want to start working with investors. This is just way easier, and like everybody, it all feels like it's actually moving more smoothly than anything else. And so I kind of just fell into it. Hard Money Lending Company had reached out to me, and um, they were telling me, hey, you are wholesaling already, so you know a bunch of buyers, and a bunch of buyers means a lot of funding that they need, for flips and such. And so, like I said, it kind of just fell into it. And now my entire business is just connecting investors with the right capital. And I say right capital, not just capital, because as some people here have experienced even very recently, there are some crazy ass hard money lenders that will just do wacky things and like say, hey, we need reserves, but also we're going to hold on to those reserves for months. And you're like, where's what? I thought I just had to show it in my bank account. Like, why are you? So, yeah, it's my job and my pleasure to try to find actual decent lenders to connect investors to and make just their job way easier. And that's how I hit a five-figure month. And this is a screenshot I sent my mom. I did a pretty poor job of actually documenting the $10,000 I made, but I did. I did it. This was actually in September of 2025. So I think this was right before we closed the last two deals that we were doing, or like the last deal. But I hope you'll believe me. If not, I think $8,000 is good enough to show, like, this is pretty decent if that's what she made in a month. And so today, I want to show you guys how to be the plug and get paid for these intros. And it's not going to be a long time, or I'm trying to make this like 90 minutes. I don't want to keep everybody here for too long. So don't need to know everything. All you need to know is the basics. So the basics are, there are four loan types that we work with. First one is DSCR. So DSCR stands for debt service coverage ratio. So what is it? Or a DSCR is having somebody that qualifies on rental income rather than their personal income. So, if you're buying, or if you have bought your own house before, primary, secondary residence, you know that if you're going to a bank, they're going to want your tax returns, your pay stubs, all the different things to show that you personally are bringing in the income to pay for the monthly payments. This is different because this is for an investment property. This is for a rental property. And so they know, oh, you're not going to be paying for it. The rental income is going to be. And so the way that, like I said, it's DSCR. So the R is the ratio. So how do you calculate the ratio? Super easy. Next part here is just the rental income divided by the mortgage payment. So if the rent is $2,000, your mortgage payment, or your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, $2,000, that means that your DSCR, that ratio, is 1.0. And if it's 1.0, that means you're breaking even. And great thing, at least nowadays, is a lot of lenders are fine with a 1.0 DSCR. You pretty much automatically qualify. A couple years ago, I have some investor friends. I think they started burring in like 2020 or maybe like 2019, 2018. And they started kind of thinking about getting back into it last year. And they're like, oh man, Jada, I don't know. I haven't been seeing a lot of 1.25 DSCRs or like properties that have a 1.25 DSCR. And I'm like, that doesn't matter. So back in the day, a lot of people were trying to do this. So the banks were like, well, we want to make sure that you have a really strong rental income. So like I said, it has to be 1.25. Nowadays, that's not the case. So the barrier to entry is way lower. A lot of people can do this more. So if the property breaks even, that DSCR is 1.0, your FICO is 680, pretty much qualifies. So the DSCR is for the investor who has rentals. Maybe the bank is saying no. So this is really big for a lot of like bigger pockets people or a lot of more traditional kind of mentorships where they're teaching, at least from my experience, usually a little older people like, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to say this in a negative or derogatory way. In my mind, I'm thinking like 60s, 70s, but I was going to say 40. But I mean like well-established people in their career generally. So they're telling people, use conventional loans. And that's kind of a good idea, I think, because conventional is a lower rate, like usually like 5, maybe 4% even now. And so these mentorships are telling these people, hey, you're a high income earner, like just build up your rental portfolio and build it up using conventional loans. But after 10 conventional loans, people are capped. They can't get more conventional loans unless they pay it off. So these are great for people where they're like, oh man, I just hit that ceiling. Or if their DTI, their debt to income, is a little too high. Like let's say, same thing is happening. They have a lot of conventional loans or a lot of different kinds of debt. And maybe they're paying it off. And just because they have debt doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Maybe it's a lot of different investments, but banks will look at that, say, we don't trust it. You're too leveraged. We don't want to do it. This is also good for investors who have rehabbed a property and now they want to hold it, whether they're Kenny and they actually plan to do that, or they're fix and flippers and they're like, oh, I want to flip this property. And actually, never mind. I kind of want to hold it as a rental. I think it'll be good. And then this is also really good for nationals who want to start investing in the U.S. So we've helped several Canadians. We're helping a gentleman from the Netherlands right now. And like I said, they don't live in the U.S. at all. They just want to start investing here. And then hopefully, maybe they'll move over here. So terms that we're seeing right now, low 6%, 7% interest rates. I think with Kenny, we actually just closed a deal. I think it was 6.875. Gangster. So those are the interest rates we're seeing right now. Depends on someone's U.S. credit score and their experience and such, but that's an easy thing to have. We can go up to 80% LTV depending on the state and some of the property and like the DSCR. But this goes for purchases and refinances, whether it be a rate and term refinance, which a lot of people will do. They'll get just 80% LTV on a rate and term, but we can also do 80% on cash outs. So if people are fine with a higher interest rate and they really just want that cash now, they may be able to even get as high as 80%. And then lastly, this is a 30-year mortgage. So it's not like just because it's for investors and like we're just looking at the rental income. I think some people might think that this is going to kind of be like a shark lenders or like a shark loan where it's like, yeah, pay us back in like 12 months. No, this is an actual long-term loan. So it's really good for rental properties, people wanting to keep these investment properties. Any questions so far? Game. Bonus here is they don't report to personal credit, at least generally when you want to make sure that you ask these lenders these things. And so that's what we try to do. But when you first close with a DSCR, usually they're not reporting to personal credit. Now, most lenders will sell these loans to the secondary market, which means that they're selling the note to another lender. So it's up to that secondary market lender to actually decide whether they want to report to your personal credit or not. I know some lenders that are a little more specific with who they sell to. And so those are the lenders I'm like, oh, I know that This is never going to report to your personal credit. So it's not going to affect anyone's DTI. And that's huge. Another thing too, right here is soft pulls are available. So depends on the lender again. But if somebody really doesn't want to get a hard pull on their credit, we have some lenders that will just do a soft pull throughout the whole process. Next, like I was mentioning earlier, foreign nationals. So we can go actually up to 75% LTV on a purchase or a refinance if a foreign national doesn't have any kind of US credit score. So if they don't have an ITIN, if they don't have a credit score, that's fine. They still have options. And then if they do have a US credit score, then we can even go up to 80% LTV. We can kind of just treat them as a regular citizen. So it's sick. And then lastly, we have manufactured homes that we can do, or we can get these loans for. And manufactured homes, at least for my network, is becoming more and more popular because they're way more affordable. And a lot of my network is in like the Southeast, so it's great. But these DSCR loans can apply to multifamily, which I'm sure James knows, townhomes, condos. Say that one more time.
That was going to be my question: is how
Exactly.
big of a multifamily can you do on DSCR?
You can do commercial multifamily. So 60, 100 units, you're good. Now, some lenders will, I think, cap you based off of the dollar amount, not necessarily the unit size. So I got to check. I don't know if it's like 10 million because I normally do residential loans, but yes, you can get a loan for multifamily. So if you have some of those, feel free to bring it to me. I'll check for you. All right, on to the next loan type. We have hard money. So hard money is great because usually they're pretty speedy with the process and people start getting rehab funds for this. So what is a hard money loan? It's a loan for the purchase and the rehab of a property. Great thing too is these are short-term loans, so like 6 to 18 months. They're not like DSCR loans. Now, hard money is best for the investor who has a deal and they need to close fast. Sometimes, depending on, if all the stars align, we can close within 7 days. This is also great for people who want funding for the purchase and the rehab of the property. So with our lenders, we can actually, depending on the person, but if they have some experience and if the numbers work, we can get them 100% funding. So 100% of the purchase price, 100% of the rehab. Hard money lending terms, hard money loan terms, usually they start at like 9.95%. I've seen them go up to 12, maybe 13% on like the 100% funding. We can go up to 100%, again, like I just said, on the purchase and the rehab. Typically, we're seeing like, it depends on the numbers, but a lot of lenders will lend up to 70% of the ARV. So if you do have a property, you're like, hey, the numbers work. It's below 70% of the ARV. Would you? And I have experience. I've done 1 to 3 flips. Would you fund it? Usually it's a yes. And then lastly, we are looking at like 6 to 18 month terms. Along with that is there's no prepayment penalty period. So borrowers can repay the loan at any time without a fee. And that was it for hard money. Pretty cut and dry. If anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute or feel free to raise your hand or go ahead, Brandy.
Actually, I do have a question. So going back to the DSCR, with the foreign nationals, is the process actually the same?
Yeah.
Do they need any like extra documentation or?
Yeah. So if I'm going to assume you're talking about no credit score or just any foreign national.
Right. No credit score.
Yeah. So the process is pretty much the same. Usually they just want to see that you have, or the foreign national has 3 trade lines in their country. So like my Canadian people, if they have, or what they had was a mortgage payment, they had a car payment, and then they had like credit cards. So it's 3 trade lines. That means that they had some sort of credit available.
Okay.
So what our lenders did there was they just asked for the credit report. So the borrower has to get it themselves. And then if it was in a different language, like this other guy from the Netherlands, it was all in Dutch. So we had to have him go to, there's like a bunch of third-party translators. And so then he just got it translated, got a stamp, and that was it. That was like the only additional thing that they did.
Okay. For like their ID and everything like that, that would also need to be then translated or, yeah.
As far as I know, no.
No. Okay.
At least yeah, for what we did, we didn't need it translated. He just took a photo of his passport, and I was like, all right,
And that was it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That was it.
yeah, no, good question.
Thanks.
All right. Next one, we have the land home package, which I'm really liking lately. So nobody really knows that this exists. And a lot of people are actually starting to get really interested in this strategy. And because it's so, I would say not widespread yet, and because nobody kind of knows this exists, that's what makes it so unique. And I think that's what's going to really make it your edge. So these strategies, and I'll go through it right now, but it's the same cost as a flip, but it takes half the time and none of the surprises of like foundation issues or mold in the basement and like all these different things that come when you're flipping an actual existing property. So what is a land home package? It's when an investor buys a plot of land, they buy a manufactured home or a modular home to put on the land. And then once it's on the land, they either sell the property or they refinance it and keep it as a rental. So super easy strategy. At least it sounds really simple and kind of is. So these are best for investors who are already somewhat experienced. So you don't need like 10 flips under your belt, but need a couple, like 2 to 3 flips. If you've already worked with manufactured homes, then 1 to 2 manufactured home flips are fine. And so these are really focusing that on the affordability market. They're looking at that demographic, I'll say, with like end buyers, like with people wanting to just buy a home to live in. So I'll show you right now. States, it's kind of more in the southeast with some nuance. We have like Ohio. I don't know if I would count Virginia as a southeast, maybe, but they can do Virginia. So this is an example, and this is going to make a lot more sense. So this was actually a deal that we just got. This is our CRM. So this individual, she is doing a ton of land home packages in North Carolina right now. So she's buying land at $40,000. She's getting a manufactured home and like a really nice double wide for $100,000. Setup fees are like $35,000. And by setup fees, I mean, like putting in septic or maybe just doing tap fees or putting in a driveway, maybe building a porch. But all of that, $35,000. Now the ARV is set to be $215,000. If you do the math, I promise I did. That profit is $40,000. Oh gosh, right there, $40,000, and she's estimated to be done within 3 months. So as soon as she purchases the land, 3 months later, it's sold, and she made $40K. And she didn't have to touch like a hammer or hire a GC to fix a bunch of these different things in the home. She just bought it from a dealer that already had it made. All she did was transport it to the property. A part of those setup fees was just making sure that there's foundation and that things are pretty simple. Put the property on the foundation, and then she sold it. So this is getting way more popular. I'm actually meeting a lot of different investors within the last year that are doing more and more of these. So if you're loan brokering or interested in this whole broker affiliate program, oh man, if you just tell people about this, or if you talk to people, or if you like post about it, this is going to be huge. You're going to have so many people that reach out. And so terms here, if you want to write it down, either way, if you want the slides, just let me know. So interest rates are going to be a little higher than a hard money loan. These are new loans, obviously, but they're also like generally super short term if people are in a good area. So interest rates are 13 to 15.75%. Depending on the lender, we can even fund up to 100% of the land, 100% of the loan, and the setup fees. Some lenders will only go up to like 80% of the land, but for pretty much everyone, it's the home and the setup fees are always covered. So always 100%. And like I said earlier, setup fees can be like septic, tap fees, driveway, like any of the hard costs. Another great thing here is that there is no credit check, depending on the lender. But generally, most of our lenders don't do any kind of credit check, and they don't do any kind of appraisal either. So it makes the closing super fast. And again, like they just want to see that the investor has experience, and they're like, all right. Main thing here, though, is this is just a 6-month term. So this is not a hard money where it's 6 to 12 months. They're like, no, you can get it done in half the time. So here you go. Any questions on land home packages? Cool. All right, last one is new construction. So similar to hard money loan, except this is now a loan for the purchase of the lot and construction of a property. So what's great about these, at least for some of our lenders, is a lot of investors don't need new construction experience. I have some flippers that are like, well, I need new construction experience in order to get a new construction loan. Like, how can I even do that? But if you flipped a few properties, a lot of lenders will say, all right, you have some sort of experience, and they can just use your GC. They can just use the general contractor's experience. And now a lot of lenders are starting to be a little more relaxed with it. So you don't even need the GC in your LLC or in your company. And I've known that's been a lot of people's holdups because they're like, I don't trust my GC that much. Like, yeah, we've worked on a few projects, but I don't want them in the LLC. So this is a great alternative. Another thing is we can even fund the horizontal land development. And so that's all of the hard costs in order to start building vertically. So anything where you're digging up dirt, we can cover it. And this is best, kind of for you, like a trigger in your mind if you're ever scrolling through Facebook or on Facebook groups. Great to talk to people that are buying land. So, if they're buying it, like maybe send them a message or comment on the post. Like, are you planning to build? Because we can fund, the land purchase, the horizontal and the vertical development or just build costs. So terms here, similar to hard money, starts at 9%, up to 13, up to 90% LTV on the purchase of the land and 100% of the construction costs. So the vertical costs actually building the property can do it 100%. And then these are a little longer, so 12 to 24 months. And that's because building a property takes a lot longer than flipping it. So people need time and we'll give it to them. And that's it. That's the 4 loan types. So I'm giving you guys one more opportunity to raise your hand if you have any other things. Otherwise, I'll continue. All right, cool. So here's exactly what you guys get paid. So we have 3 tiers for our affiliate program. So tier 1, and this is all free. This is not like you have to buy into it. But if you're in tier 1, you're going to get paid 25% of the commission that we get paid per loan. Tier 2, you get 30%. Tier 3, 35%. So I'll go into depth in a bit. Let me just show you like what the numbers actually look like. Because for me, I'm a numbers person. Once I see them, I'm like, oh, okay, this definitely makes sense. So I'll show you some like real deals that we've actually closed and what you would have made. So we closed a loan for $568,000. Our commission, we usually charge 2% for our loans. So our commission was $11,000. If you would have brought this to us, and even on tier 1, you would have made $2,800. And that wouldn't have been because you brought us the loan and you were helping us get the documents and then you were helping us schedule the closing. No, that would have been from just one text introduction. So if you're like, hey, Jada, I have, Steven that needs a flip or that needs a DSCR loan here, and that's it. And then you get paid $2,800 when we close. So if your goal and kind of the whole theme of this, because I was able to hit 5 figures, if you want to hit 5 figures just from doing this and your commissions are $2,800, all you need is 4 loans, 4 of those $568,000 loans to bring us per month. And here's the HUD, 568. 11,375. Deal 2, similar thing, 517,000. Our commission was 9,000. Your cut would have been $2,200. And if you don't want to do a text introduction, you can always do an email introduction. And if you are getting these commissions at $2,200 a month, that's only 5 of these loans that we got to close per month for you to hit 10K. Here's the HUD. Deal 3, loan amount. If you're like, I'm maybe in Ohio or I'm in states where I don't know if I can get, $500,000 loans, but I definitely know people doing 150, maybe 200,000. Okay, cool. Well, it's going to be definitely lower. 200, we got $4,000, $4,200 as a company. Your cut would be $1,000. But again, that's just from one intro. That's from one text. And if you want to be making $10,000 a month, that would be 9 of these. But if for you, you're like, well, I can definitely find 9 loans or nine people needing like $200,000. Then it's super easy. It's super doable. And then boom, there we go. There's the HUD. So this is real, super doable. And just earlier this year, we actually got Stephanie paid for $3,900. So, yeah, I mean, people are making this all the time. Her loan was actually one of those like higher $500,000. I'm trying to think. I think it was in Colorado. Yeah. And then, oh, there she is. So, if your average loan size that you're bringing in is $500K, your cut could be between $2,500 to $3,500 alone. This is not a month. So, this is a 5-figure income for 4 funded loans. Super easy. And that's with you, again, being at the minimum tier, 25%. So if you have one investor that you know doing 2 deals this month, that's up to $5,000 to you. And that's, again, one text message introduction. And that could also be from people that are already in your phone. Like Kenny was already in my phone. He knew me. He reached out to me. James, same thing. I think we were like messaging on Facebook maybe. But like most of the deals I get are from the relationships that I built in the last 5 years being in sub 2. It's me having reached out to people, or it's me having been on social media so much and tried to like just post and make myself known for this that people end up coming to me, or people end up referring others to me. And so it's yeah, it's great. Like I hate cold outreach. I hate cold DMing and calling, and I don't do it. And it could be the death of me, but gosh, no thanks. And so let's say you know 3 investors doing 2 deals a month. That's up to $15,000 for you. So I'm pretty sure most of you guys in here know 3 people doing deals. They don't have to be huge deals. Maybe they could be bigger deals, but pretty sure you know them. So this is what getting paid looks like. We got Theodore. I like to call him Teddy. We paid him $2,700. We had this other gentleman. We paid him paid him 1,400 Canadian dollars. So he was the gentleman that brought us some Canadian deals. We also paid Colin $1,000 in April for setting us up with this one referral. So we actually closed that, I think, in like a month. But yeah, he's a realtor. He worked with a lot of people from sub 2 because he is a realtor, and he was like, hey, her lender's kind of screwing her, and they've kind of what was the deal? I'm trying to remember. I think they let her on for like 3 months. Like they kept asking her for more things and more things. And so when he brought her to me, I was like, this is crazy why they're asking for all these different things. And we were like, we're able to close it, and they made $1,000. So these are 4 steps that kind of go into every loan. And you just got to do step 2. Well, step 1 and step 2. So step 1 is you sign up with us. So I'll send you guys an email as soon as we're off of this call, and that'll have our referral agreement. That'll have the W-9. So the W-9 is tax purposes. And that's pretty much it. So the second thing you really need to do, that's just where you send us the intros. So 3-way text message, 3-way email, and that's kind of your whole job. What's our job is we're doing the work. We're negotiating the terms. We're doing all the processing, doing all the paperwork. Like all of that is us. We're talking to appraisers and title companies and insurance companies. And when the deal funds, then we'll pay you. And I shoot to try to pay you guys as soon as we get paid as well. I'm not trying to do some sort of, I don't know. I had somebody that I was speaking to the other day that was like, yeah, I kind of do the same thing here, or like I work for some people, and sometimes it could be like 2 weeks before I ever see, my money after the deal closes. I'm like, that's insane. No, don't do that. And so that's why we also get the W-9 and your wiring or Zelle instructions up front, so that it's like boom, boom. So I'm gonna take a break right now. I want you guys to at least, maybe if not write down, but at least think of 5 to 10 names. We'll just say 5. Think of 5 names right now. And you're like, it's been a while since I've spoken to this person, or maybe I speak to them all the time, but we only talk about this and this, or maybe we talk about like our business strategy, or maybe we talk about like, I don't know, like you're not even thinking about bringing up funding to them because maybe you're like, well, they're already doing loans. They already have the funding. Now, some people have a ton of funding, but what's another source going to hurt them? I don't think it's going to hurt them at all. I think a lot of people might like it. Cool. So I would say, at least this seems a little bit of an ask, but I would say just try to shoot for sending an intro. You don't have to do it before the end of this call. This slide is maybe a little too aggressive for my liking. But I would say within like a day, because I know that everybody here is in the space. All of us know one person. And if you want, you can copy this word for word. I'll even put it in the chat so you guys have it. So just an intro text. Hey, Carl. This is Jada. She's with One Orbit Lending, and she's great with DSCR loans or construction loans. Jada, this is Carl. He's blah, 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 blah. He's flipping a property now, and I thought you'd be a great source to, or I thought you two would be great to connect or whatever. You know, it could be something that's as simple as that. And most questions that I get for like broker affiliate people that I brought in are kind of fall into like 5 buckets. So first one is, do I need a license? No, this is free. This is free for you. I don't want you guys to think that you have to pay to be in different tiers, and you guys don't also have to pay to be bringing in these loans. And because you're not originating it, you're just referring it to us. That means that you don't need a license. You're not touching anything. 2, what if somebody has a lender already? Make the intro anyway, because you could tell them like, oh, well, you know, or well, one thing you do is like ask them a little bit more about what their lender does. Why do they like them? What are some things that they wish they could have done better? It's like, I don't know, maybe if you think that they could close faster, maybe if you think they could lend you more or whatever it may be, maybe Jada has somebody. So, you know, if it's a private money lender, whenever they're capped out, maybe go to Jada, maybe have her as a backup, or maybe go to me. Like, you don't have to say Jada. Maybe if you want to like brand yourself, that's totally fine. But either way, like I was saying, another source of funding won't hurt anyone. 3 is, how fast do I get paid? I try to do it as fast as possible. Same day as brokerage, like I said earlier. 4 is, how do I track my referrals? So when you guys sign up, once you guys sign your referral agreements and such, you'll get another email with your link to your portal and then your referral link. So that portal link is where you can actually track those referrals. So you'll see how many people have clicked on your link. Maybe you might not be able to see like who actually did it. I don't know. That's kind of in depth. But then you can definitely see who's actually submitted through my referral link. And that's where you could definitely calculate or track those leads. And then lastly, what if the deal doesn't close? Well, no one gets paid. So try to bring good deals. But either way, like I've gone through a ton of different deals where we're like at the closing table, we just got the clear to close, and then for some reason the deal falls through, or the investor decides, I want to hold off on this. And so it's like, well, maybe today's no doesn't mean that it's a no every day. Maybe in the future they'll come back and say, hey, I'm ready to like redo this deal, or I'm ready to do this deal and whatnot. But yeah, if the deal doesn't close, you don't get paid, but I also don't get paid either. So your guys' next 3 steps: 1, register as an affiliate. I'll send it again, an email with the referral agreement and such for you guys to review first and then sign right after this call. 2, send an intro within the next 7 days. Promise it's so much easier than it looks. And it's kind of like one of those, you know, a lot of people are like, I don't want to make my first call to sellers. Like, I'm really scared. Intros are usually easier because you actually know these people. This is not a cold outreach. This is warm. And all you're doing is like, hey, I just want to be helpful. I was in this webinar. Jada said some interesting stuff. Maybe it might help you. If not, whatever. And then I guess you don't have to do step 3, but we'll handle everything else. So actually going into these tiers. So tier 1 is 25%, and that's for your first 2 loans that we fund from you. So you'll get a full kind of product training. I'll be sending that within the next couple weeks. You get your own referral link, and then you'll get that intro script that I sent in the chat. But I'll make sure that I send it to you guys again in a more permanent basis. And everybody gets paid $600 minimum. And that's if you're doing like minimum, like $75,000 or $100,000 loan. So no matter what, you're going to get paid $600. I'm not trying to like do super small loans and then pay somebody like $75. That's sad. And then tier 2. So if you close, or if we all close 3 to 9 deals or 3 to 9 loans from your referrals, then you get 30%. So it's the same thing. The full product training, referral link, and the intro script. So same thing as tier 1, but now you'll get put into our community. And so the community is where I'll like really go in depth with like, hey, I'll do Q&As, I'll do more trainings, like trainings on not only the products that we do, but maybe there's an update to certain products or an update to certain strategies, or like marketing training, or like all these different things that could be super, super helpful. And then last one, if we fund 10 deals or more, then you get 35% of the loan commission. And that's everything that was in the first ones, except now you'll also get labeled or white labeled flyers and email templates if you want to have your own newsletters, or even if you don't have a newsletter, let's say you want like you want to make it easy for your Facebook posts or whatnot, we'll make sure that we create those resources for you. And so we'll have some every month where it's like, hey, here's a new batch. So if you're like, great, I don't even have to think about what I post, just copy paste. That's perfect with me. And that's it. So tonight only, if you, once I send the referral agreements, the email, if you review it, you sign it, that means that you register, and you send one introduction within the next 24 hours, then I will immediately bump you from tier 1 to tier 2. So you're not getting 25%, you're getting 30% right off the bat. And then this is just some deals. So instead of getting like $2,600, you'd get like $3,100 right off the bat. And that's pretty much it. So I highly recommend just doing this because this is super, super easy and you get 5% more. And it may not sound like a lot, but 25 to 30% is a good chunk depending on the deal. And that's it. I would say if you can, post your 5 takeaways. And this is, for me, to kind of get some exposure. But really, I would say that this is like a great way to start getting yourself out there. Take a screenshot of this, Google me right now, and that's like a picture saying, hey, I just went to this webinar, blah, 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 in case you guys didn't know about land home packages, or in case you didn't know that there's horizontal funding for your new construction. Like, the takeaways will bring people to you because they're like, oh, I didn't realize that. Or like, Kenny, tell me more. James, tell me more. And I think it's just a good way to start warming up your audience. So that's all I have for you. Any questions, any comments, concerns?
Yeah, aside from your option number 3, which was the land and home option, do you guys have any limitations on states you lend in, or are you pretty much all 48 or all 50?
We're most states. I keep forgetting I say nationwide, but nobody does North Dakota or South Dakota because no one lives there. So
Dakotas.
yeah, anywhere but that. But I mean, we do even work in like California, New York for DSCRs, new construction, all of that. Good question.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say quick tips. I immediately forgot what I was going to say. Anyways, start posting on Facebook every now and then. Maybe if you don't want to be super annoying with it. But I can send you guys this recording and send you the slideshow if you want. But I would say like maybe even posting once a week, maybe twice a week with like, hey, did anybody know this? Did anybody know that there are lenders who could do horizontal development, or the funding for horizontal development or new construction? Or has anybody heard of a land home package? Like, just putting those crumbs out there is super, super valuable. Like, it's crazy how many people will watch your things and not interact with you, and then will come to you later on and be like, hey, you've been doing a great job, and I actually like have somebody for you, and then they'll refer you. And you're like, cool, okay. I didn't even know you were watching anything. I thought you were not, like, I thought you deleted social media. This is great.
I do have one more question, Jada.
Yeah.
I assume most of your lenders do a physical appraisal or require a physical appraisal. Do you have knowledge as to which of your lenders do like virtual appraisal?
I don't think I have lenders that do virtual. Maybe for like hard money, sometimes they'll do a BPO. I have a couple lenders there. But no, I haven't found anybody. Definitely with DSCRs, definitely physical appraisals. Land home packages, obviously, they don't do it. But I think some of those lenders that do land home packages also do like a BPO for a flip. So yeah.
Okay, great.
Nothing, Brandy. You got it. You're good. You're solid.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited. Yeah, I like what you put together. It's awesome.
Cool. Well, I don't want to keep you guys, but again, I advise take a screenshot of this and post it just so you have some sort of picture there. But yeah, if you have any questions, y'all have my number, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Yay!
Thank you, Jada.
Thanks, Jada.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Have a good Saturday.